good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome back to my channel. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again with the first of this week's scenery reviews. We are in Africa, we're in Zimbabwe, and you're looking at Victoria Falls Airport in Zimbabwe. Foxtrot Victor, Foxtrot Alpha. This is a payware scenery by the Flight Sim Development Group, better known as Fsdg, and you're looking at version 1 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Now there is another version that was out some time ago, and I reviewed that one too, and so I'll put a link to the video so you can compare the two if you wish to. This version by Fsdg downloads at 612 meg and it installs at 1.88 gigs, so just under 1.9 gig. It's currently available from SimMarket and from the Fsdg online store. I'll give you the SimMarket price because they include VAT at the right amount. It's €14.11, which equates to roughly $15.12 US, or £12.37 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they include tax or VAT, which may vary depending on your country of purchase. Now the FSX SCENERY version, which I reviewed before, is a smaller file. It's considerably smaller than this. It's about 500 meg, 400 meg smaller, and it's cheaper by about €2 or €3. However, this scenery is more up to date and more detailed, and we'll start to have a look at it. So let's look at the list of features. We have accurate and realistic rendition of Victoria Falls Airport in Zimbabwe, Foxtrot Victor, Foxtrot Alpha. Authentic light environment. The Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 technologies, which include dynamic lighting, reflective textures, animated jetways. Jetways, there are issues with the jetways, and you'll see that during the jetway test. Optimized for great performance and visual results. Compatible with all known add-ons, including GSX and the Victoria Falls Scenery package, which is in the marketplace. And unusual for the scenery developers, they include a manual. And it's something I'll need to have a look and see exactly where that manual is. So as far as the manual is concerned, as far as I can see, it would appear that the manual is included if you make the purchase from Fsdg's own online shop. It's not in my download from SimMarket, and it's not available anywhere else that I can see. So it would appear the manual is available only if you purchase from the online shop, which is a pity. Okay, so having looked at the features, let's look at some history of this airport. So history then. Victoria Falls Airport, Foxtrot Victor, Foxtrot Alpha, is a civilian use international airport owned and operated by the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe and serves the Victoria Falls tourism industry. The airport is located 11 miles or 18 kilometers south of the town of Victoria Falls in the state of Zimbabwe in Central Africa. In April 2013, the Exim Bank of China provided $150 million loan to build the airport's new runway, taxiways and a new passenger terminal to increase the airport capacity from 500,000 to 1.7 million passengers annually. The airport operates 12 hours per day, presumably between sunrise and sunset, with immigration and customs facilities available. It offers a plethora of different services, including aircraft parking, cargo and passenger handling, refueling, weather information, restaurants, duty-free shops and banking facilities. Shuttle services from the airport to hotels and other places in town are also available, and there are a variety of tour operators based at the airport together with car rental services. The Zimbabwean Tourism Authority has an office stationed on the premises to assist travellers. Some 9 airlines operate into and out of Victoria Falls Airport, including Air Zimbabwe, Ethiopian Airlines, Kenya Airways and South African Airways, to name just a few. So that does it for history. As you can see, the airfield itself fits quite nicely into the default scenery. This is typical African bush either side of the airport there. And I can say right off the bat, this scenery has a lot more than the FSX Scenery version, but obviously it'll be up to you really to decide which one you want and how much you'd like to pay, although there's not an awful lot of difference. Okay, so let's look at runways. Okay, Victoria Falls Airport operates a single runway, 1230, measuring 13,123 feet or 4,000 metres, and is constructed from asphalt. The airport lies at a high elevation of 3,500 feet or 1,067 metres and sits within the GMT UTC plus 2 hours time zone. Now, Zimbabwe does not observe daylight saving time or DST, and so currently the country is 2 hours ahead of the UK. Runway 12, and we're looking down the throat of it now, features high intensity runway lighting, high intensity airfield lighting system version 2, centerline lighting, touchdown zone lighting and precision approach path indicators on the left side. You can't exactly see the centerline, but we'll go close in a minute and have a look, but everything else is there. Touchdown zone, high intensity lighting, lead-in lights are good, and you've got the PAPIs on the left. Approaches available at this runway, well, you have an instrument landing system certified to Category 2 low visibility operations, and you also have VOR and NDB approach options available. So let's just get a closer look at the threshold, see if we can check the centerline. Okay, so from there I can't see any centerline lighting. Let's drop the light right the way down to the darkness and see if anything comes up. So there we drop right down to the darkness where you wouldn't operate into this airport, and of course this, you can see there's no centerline lighting. So that's the only thing that's missing from the scenery. Let's bring it back to daytime and go and have a look at the other end, runway 30. Okay, so here we are down at the other end, runway 30 approach, and there you can see the terminal area to the right. So runway 30 has the same high intensity runway lighting, medium intensity approach lighting system, and precision approach path indicators again on the left side. Approach options, here you have a VOR, a DME approach option only. So the airport has one star instrument approach but no SIDS, no departure, no standard instrument departures. So it has instrument approach options available, but they are limited here. So the only thing we're missing is the centerline lighting, but apart from that the runways and navigation lanes are as per the charts. So that's fine. Let's look at the jetways now. There are one or two issues with the jetways, so we'll have a look at that right now. Okay, jetways, so here we are on stand number 2. Here's my Boeing 737-800. Got the tug connected, so there's nothing to impede the jetway. Let's give the jetway a test. Okay, that's interesting. Something definitely wrong there. Fine, okay, the wheels, that's pretty weird. Let's unconnect it and try again. Right, that's definitely weird. So let's try again. Okay, we clearly have issues with the jetway here. Okay, so what we'll do, I'm going to move the aircraft to another stand. We'll try a different stand. Okay, so let's try again. We've positioned the aircraft spawn directly from the menu onto stand number 1 next door and set it all up. Let's try the jetway on this stand. Okay, we clearly have some wheel issues here. And the jetway has really gone right through the skin. Let's take a closer look. So as you can see, the jetway's gone right through the skin. The wheels, I don't really know what has happened here. And of course the stairwell's gone into the concrete, which is quite normal. We see that a lot. So here's the jetway from the other side. As you can see, the hood has gone right through the skin of the aircraft, but this is not really a huge problem. What is a problem is the wheels, and I really don't know what's happened here. But as you can see, the wheels are a mess, so that needs to be fixed. Let's look inside the doorway. So here we are inside the doorway, and to be honest, that doesn't look too bad, probably because it's gone through the skin slightly on both sides, but we can see certainly at the top it's covered, and at the bottom it's covered. Now I've gone as far back as I can without interfering with the door of the jetway. Let's open the door and see how much space this has. So as you can see, to their advantage, they've got the jetway positioning right, and the door opens fine, and it doesn't interfere with the jetway at all. And there's the view looking out from inside the jetway. Okay, so let's disconnect the jetway. Once again, the hood springs back. Now the wheels really need to be sorted out. They don't turn properly, and that's a very weird motion. Apart from that, the jetway works pretty fine. Okay, so that was Jetways. As we can see, there's a big problem there with jetway wheels that probably needs to be fixed, if indeed they decide or they can fix it. So let's have a look at the airport proper as we take a real sort of main close-up tour. So that was the Jetways for you, and you can see there are one or two issues that Fsdg need to solve there. So now let's look at the main tour. Here we are at the southern end of the airport where the terminal area is. Below us is the A8 motorway, which goes right past the airport to the south, which is why you can see all these cars. So let's start a tour across the airside ramp, and we'll go all the way up the end of the runway and have a look and see what's there too. So as you can see, some nice modelling, nothing too crazy. Here we go across the main airside ramp, which looks okay. There's a bit of weathering there. The airside road looks good. The terminal's nicely modelled, and you can see there's interior modelling, which we will look at ultimately, eventually. As you can see, it looks really nice. It does look pretty good. It's significantly more detailed than the other version, although this isn't meant to be a comparison. So here you can see an extensive ramp layout. There's the fire station down there to the right. Here's the main control tower. In fact, that is the fire station there, so we'll have a look at what that other building is later and see if we can identify it. There's the control tower. Can't see any internal development, and there is no internal development in the control tower. So as we head up to the other end, far end of the runway, towards the runway 12 threshold, you can see various bits and pieces, various buildings, turning pad there. Everything looks pretty cool. It's a bit sparse, but then you've got one or two little odd details that have been added here and there, like that there, for example. Here's the VOR station, which is right up at the top end, just on the slightly on the west side of the runway 12 approach system. There's the ILS. equipment down there. And you can see the runway is quite nicely textured. Typical bush, African bush there to the right side. And here, as we get close to the threshold of runway 30 here on the western side, you can see more buildings and a little bit more detail that's been worked on. So I just wanted a close look at this building, which initially I thought was the fire station, but as you can see it's not. It may well have been the old fire station or the old, I don't think it's the old control tower, because this is too low really to be of any use as a tower on the airfield. So I reckon this was probably an old fire station. And there's a view from the other side, complete with a vehicle. Quite nice indeed. Okay, so that was airside. Let's go and have a look at airside of the terminal up close. So here we are airside, making a slow close-up look. And as you can see, the detail's quite nice. Quite nicely done. I mean, this isn't Fly Tampa or Pyreg Dev Company or anything like that. But no, it's nice. It is very nice. I think this is the domestic building. Yes, it is. As you can see, internal development in the main terminal, which we can see from outside, and be interesting to see just how good it looks in the darkness hours as we go down to the darkness hours. Airside fence there. As you can see, all looks really fine. So here's the huge water tower. There's the fence line you can see below, with the motorway to the right, and the airport entrance there in the distance. Well, this is a pretty well weathered building. And it's quite a prominent feature at the real airport. So we head out towards the entrance. So here's the entrance with some slight modelling. We follow the airport entrance in, and we're coming up on the land side of the building now. This is quite pleasant here. Lots of lights, signage looks good, road signs that are modelled. There's an entrance point there. And that all looks quite nice. No people outside. I think there are inside internally, but we'll look in a minute. Would have been nice to see the odd person standing outside, but there we go. I guess we can't have everything. As far as I know, this is the domestic end. Yeah, domestic departures down there and domestic arrivals. Quite nice. Small car park. All sort of basically modelled, but yeah, no real problems. And directly ahead of us here is the fuel farm. So here you've got this huge massive car park, quite nicely modelled. Again, nothing fantastic, but the cars are in the right places, and that's a big plus. And the car park extends to the other side of the building here. Right up to the airside fence. So there's my aircraft parked on the other stand. So there you go, that was a brief tour of the airport with the parking area, airside and landside, and a look around the airport briefly. Let's lower the lighting and have a look at the dusk lighting here and see how the airport looks. Okay, 6:30 in the evening, the sun is setting, the lights actually came on about 4 minutes ago. And here's an overview of the ramp. As you can see, the lighting looks fine, no real problems airside. Just a quick look towards the runway. As you can see, the taxiways are marked with blue airfield edge lights, but there are no green centerline lights that I can see. Taxiway signage looks good. Here we are going on to the runway. This is taxiway Alpha 4. You can see the cat 1 and 2 markings there. And you've got runway length from this point on as well, and again nice to see good signs that are reflected into the ground, which is great. And just looking back towards the terminal here, the same taxiway, the signage is great, no problems at all with the signage. So here's the building that we thought might have been the fire station earlier on, but actually isn't. And nice to see some subtle lighting there too, looks very nice. So let's just tour airside, this time from north to south. As you can see, the lighting's fine. All provided by the correct things, as I say. Here's the domestic terminal, all nicely lit up, looking quite good. No internal development, but there is parallaxing of a sort here. Just a closer look at the domestic arrivals point. There's the bus that drops them off, and you can see all looks pretty nice. So touring airside again, the ramp is very bright actually. It looks quite brashed, to be honest, but it works, no problem at all. Okay, so let's look at the interior of the terminal. I thought we'd do it at dusk because it usually looks better. Here we are from outside and you can see static people, which is nice. Let's look at the lower end first. Yep, all looks quite nice. Nothing special, but it looks good. And there we are looking out towards the other end. So here we are on gate number 2, and you can see this time we've got a line of people queuing up for the boarding point there. But yeah, very nice, but no check-in agent available this time. Well, there's a quick look inside. And finally, stand number 1, there on the lower end, there's nobody in there at all. So on the upper boarding level there you can see again stand number 1, we've got people inside. And there's a view looking out towards gate 1, and we've got a boarding board. Let's get up a bit close, see if we can read it. No, we can't, it's blurred, but you know, no problem, it's there, it just enhances the interior a little bit. So here we are to gate 2, and you can see the upper area here, just a couple of people there. And this time gate 3, where my aircraft is parked, we've got a few more people. And there's a view from inside that little satellite point there. So let's just take a little tour inside the airside lounge. And this is quite nice. You see we've got quite a bit of detail, plenty of passengers, some vending machines. Got some images on the wall there. And it all looks quite pleasant. Like I said, it's not high detail, it's not phenomenally done, but it's enough, I think, to give you quite a nice view as you approach the terminal from airside. But it all looks pretty nice. No real complaints at all. So we'll go out through the windows as we are able to do. There on the right you can see this is the domestic terminal part, and it looks nice. It does look nice at the night time. Okay, it's just parallaxing here, as you can see. Nothing special, but it's fine. So a quick tour landside. Here's the domestic terminal that we looked at earlier. Quite nice lighting. As you can see, all looks pretty nice. Nothing special, but the lighting's quite subtle. And the terminal certainly looks better at night time. And you can see the doorways into the terminal there. A nice airport sign on the outside. And again, we've got this massive car park with a few cars in it, and all the light is coming from the correct lighting points. Okay, there are one or two Asobo globes floating around. I can see one there, but actually it works. It doesn't spoil it at all. It looks pretty good. So let's pop into the terminal landside, have a quick look at what's going on inside here. Okay, some nice little images and bits and pieces. Yep, all looks fairly nice, nothing special. All low resolution, nothing really fantastic as it were. And you've got the escalator that goes up onto the upper level, which is modelled but not really substantiated in any way. Just lots of little signs and hoardings, advertisement, most of it low resolution, so you can't really, it only looks a bit better when you're far away, like at this point. So let's continue into the departures area. We go over this wall here that separates the two areas. Again, you've got signage, Coke machines and stuff like that. You know, nothing really special. Enough to make it believable. Bit concerned about this really. You shouldn't really be able to go towards this point here without a security check. I mean, there probably obviously is one, but I can't work it out. So we're back at the airside lounge that we looked at before. So somewhere along here there would be a security check where you get searched. But I can't see it anywhere. There's the arrival side. This is departures. So international departures as seen from just outside the landside area. Like I said, I can't see a security check anywhere at all. So that's an anomaly, but you know, for the scenery purposes it's not an issue. Not an issue at all. But there's an overview as the sun completely almost disappears. It's really nice. The lighting's quite subtle. It's a very pleasant little airport. So let's turn the lighting down to night time, and bear in mind you wouldn't make an approach to land or take off during the darkness hours. This is a 12-hour use airport only, but we'll have a look and see what it looks like in the darkness anyway. So this is 8:30 PM, and as you can see the sun is gone, darkness is fully upon us, and the airport looks fine. No real change in the amount of lighting, but it looks perfectly acceptable. For those of you who want to try and come in here at night, even though technically you wouldn't be allowed, obviously you've got an ILS on one of the runways, which would help. So here's the airside apron, as you can see, perfectly well lit, and you can see the blue airfield edge lights there denoting and demarking the taxiways. you would need your nose gear light to help you find your way through. And there we are, looking up towards runway 12 approach, which is right there at the far end. And you can see taxiway signage is good, it's nicely lit, no real problems there. And there's a high level overview at night time showing you the airside terminals and the landside part as well, and the runway and taxiway to the left. Okay, so let's bring the dawn up. So 20 to 6 in the morning, as you can see the lighting's gone out and you've got the red glow on the buildings as the sun rises above the horizon slightly behind us. And there's the sun coming up over the horizon towards the east, and there we are looking down on the terminal. Okay, 8 AM local time, the sun's well up now, and time to wrap up this review and give you my conclusions. Do I like it? Yeah. It's an improvement on the earlier scenery, quite a significant improvement. It's not typical Fsdg capability. I know they're capable of much more than this. The detail's okay, it's perfectly acceptable. If you need to fly into Victoria Falls or you want this airport very badly, this is the best version available. And you can take off here, and Victoria Falls is literally minutes away by helicopter or light aircraft. And if you need this airport, yeah, this is the best version. It's lovely, it's very acceptable, no problems really with it at all, in terms of giving you what you want, certainly airside. They need to sort out the jetway issues. They're saying that these are sort of default MSFS2020 jetways, but clearly the wheels have got a problem. That really needs to be solved, I think. The lighting's very nice, going down to sunset, and visually it looks lovely. I can't see, I mean, they've done the internal, which looks quite pleasant. Again, nothing to write home about, it's just nice, nothing more than that. We're missing the security area, I don't know where that is, but this is an international airport, so they need a security check, and I can't see that. But the airport is fine. It's not hugely detailed, and it's not modelled to the high detail I would have expected. You've got low resolution images on the hoardings everywhere. It's fairly basic, but like I said, it's the best available for this airport. There's more here than there is in the default scenery or in the FSX version, sorry, the FSX scenery version that was released earlier by the other developer. For an extra €2, you certainly do get a lot more in detail in this scenery than you do in the other one. Do I think it's worth €14? It's hard to say. I don't know. It's probably worth about 12. There's a lot of detail here, but much of it hasn't been made in high detail, if you get my meaning. You know, the Fsdg have some skill, and they're capable of more, as we've seen from the other sceneries, such as Mauritius and so on, that they've done for Flight Sim 2020. Just they've decided not to really go any further in terms of development and detail with this airport, and that's fine. I get that. For the pilots among you, airside is as you want. It looks real, and it looks perfectly okay. You will have issues if you really want to connect the jetways, but those of you who use GSX, I believe they've got custom jetways. Be interesting to know how they work out. Perhaps if somebody has got this scenery and also has GSX Pro running, maybe they can tell me if there are any issues with GSX Pro. As I said, there's supposed to be a manual, but I can't get hold of it. I bought my copy from Sim Market, and there's no manual available, so I would assume the manual is included only with the version you download or obtain from the Fsdg online shop. Yeah, it's worth probably about €12. It's probably worth about the same price as the other scenery. The other scenery was about €12, but this contains more. This is for me, that would be the right sort of price. But no, it's a nice scenery. I'm happy I've got it, because you've got Victoria Falls literally minutes away, and I've got the wonderful Jefferson Victoria Falls scenery. And again, this is another place to fly into in Africa that takes international flights. So if you like to fly for Nigerian, Ethiopian and so on, you've got another option here, and it looks real. It's great. and it's pretty much as per the charts. The only thing it's missing is the centerline lighting. Everything else is as it should be. So for me, if FSDG decide to update this or improve it a little bit, we need the centerline lighting added. We need the default Jetway wheels sorting out. Those are serious issues. And it would be nice to see a little bit more detailed development of the terminal. They've chosen to do it, so why not up the detail just a little bit? I can't see where the security area is, but there must be one. That's ICAO requirement for an international airport. But other than that, it's a nice little scenery. Okay, 14 euros isn't a lot, 12 quid, $15. But just a little on the expensive side. Not a lot in it, but I just think it's probably worth about 12, maybe 13 euros. Just a little bit cheaper. But a very nice little scenery. You know, it's a typical FSDG, but it's not really as good as what they're used to doing. And so it would be nice to see an improvement. So there you go, folks. Victoria Falls Airport in Zimbabwe, Foxtrot Victor, Foxtrot Alpha. A payware scenery by the Flight Sim Development Group, better known as FSDG. And you're looking at version 1, the release version, for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Download 612 meg, installs at just under 1.9 gig. It's available from both SimMarket and the FSDG online store. SimMarket price is €14.11, which equates to roughly $15.12 US, or £12.37 UK. As ever, US and UK prices are all estimates from the euro, and they do include tax or VAT, which will of course vary depending on what country you're in when you make your purchase. It's about €2.5 more expensive than the previous FSX SCENERY Builders version, which was released I think last year, and which I have reviewed, and again I will link that review in the scenery in the description below, so you can watch that and compare the two if you want. A very nice scenery, no real complaints about it, only the things that we've seen, and it would be nice to see them sorted out. So there you are, folks. This is Lee wrapping up this first of your reviews this week. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope it's been useful for you. Look out for the next review, where all being well we'll be looking at Hobart in Tasmania by NZA Simulations. This came out some time ago and I just discovered it, and it's a really nice airport. And they very kindly let me have the Cambridge scenery that goes with this airport. They're two separate purchases, but the Cambridge little municipal airport that goes with it, they gave it to me, which was nice. So we'll have a look at that and do a decent review. And if I get time this week, we will be looking at the Harima oil rigs, which is an interesting little scenery, which I had decided I'd have a look at, certainly for the helicopter pilots among you. And I will try and get that review out this week as well. So there you go, folks. Thanks for joining me. This is Lee wrapping up this review. I will see you in the second one this week, hopefully. Big thanks and big shout out to all my subscribers. I'm over 950 now, getting close to 1,000. So thank you all very much. So take care. I will see you in the next review. Have a good week. Bye bye now.